My name's Bill Sharp, and some people have accused me of being the P.T. Barnum of big wave surfing. I really have found a niche in promoting the events, and that's really began in the late 90s with the K2 Big Wave Challenge and rolled all the way through the XXL era with the Surfline, and then the Bill Barnum XXL Big Wave Award through the WSL, and now currently they exist as the Surfer Big Wave Challenge Awards.
The biggest waves, the biggest names, the most amazing rides, and the heaviest wipeouts. Surfer's Big Wave Challenge is here.
It's nice to look back over this maybe 25-year period and acknowledge some of, I think, the achievements that this event has done and how it's elevated the sport and elevated the participants in the sport. One of the elements that I'm most proud of is the way that we've included women in the proceedings.
The winner of the 2014 Billabong Women's Best Performance Award is Kala Kinley.
And really in about 2005 we started the Women's Best Overall Performance Award, which it's always been something that we've tried to really give importance and a lot of quality time on the stage. And some of that we did through inviting previous champions of women's surfing, big wave or otherwise, to come and be a part of the festivities. And Justine DuPont really, by herself, has elevated the game. She's had her last two Ride of the Year waves were on par with any man. It's almost like an open division. It can easily be won by a woman if she gets the right wave and does the right thing. The history of the Big Wave Awards has really had a continuum of rock stars.
Hey there. My name is Robert Trujillo, and I play in a small little band just starting up called Metallica. Maybe you heard of them?
Our peak moment was when the Foo Fighters played for us, and it was really Taylor Hawkins. He was a Laguna surfer and hung out with a lot of the Billabong crew and had his cover band called Chevy Metal, and so we set it up so they were going to play at the awards after the show was over. But then word spread to the other bandmates, so we had the entire, basically, Foo Fighters band. It was just a wild night and something that just will not be forgotten by anyone who was there. If you don't know anything about surfing, maybe you haven't heard the name Greg Knoll. But anyone who does surf realizes that he is the godfather, the OG, the original badass of big wave surfing. He almost single-handedly established big wave surfing in the late 1950s and through the 60s as this unbelievable pursuit that you could go out there, just you and your board and your surf trunks, and paddle out into 40, 50-foot Waimea Bay. And man, that guy can tell a tale and tell a story, and he came to nearly every award show, and he was one of my biggest heroes, and he would never disappoint. We would get him up on the stage and he'd have something secret up his sleeves. He often told sort of salty tales. You can't really talk about great moments at the Big Wave Awards without bringing up Greg. You try to plan something that's going to be entertaining, but there's always something that can go off the rails. And if you go back to the history of the Big Wave Awards, for sure, right at the top of the list would be Christian Fletcher. And the way he called out Sebastian Stutner, this was for the Biggest Wave Award. Christian, as with more than a few surfers, didn't appreciate that Sebastian had gone straight into tow surfing without working his way up through paddle surfing. But when I invited the Fletcher family, which is royalty, with Herbie, Nathan, and Christian to come up and give out an award, didn't really think too much of it. But what transpired definitely taught me that you have to think a little harder about these things.
The German that can't paddle won the award.
Fortunately for Sebastian, there was so much noise going on, he didn't hear what was going on. It wasn't until later he realized. I come up and just rush him off the stage as best I could. One of the great moments that will live on in infamy in Big Wave Awards history. For me, one of the most fulfilling parts of running the Big Wave Awards is the way that the world champion CT surfers would be stoked to be a part of it. Andy Irons, Mark Occhilupo, giving props to Greg Knoll was a great moment. We had Martin Potter was a host one year. Occy hosted, I think, 2 years. Sean Thompson was a regular. But they clearly hold what the big wave surfers do in awesome regard, and it's just always nice to get them together. You don't have to ask twice, man. They're there in a heartbeat, and that was one of the great parts of putting on the show. Well, the planning for the 2024 Big Wave Challenge is well underway. We're gearing up to execute the event in Nazaré, Portugal on October 19th. All the best surfers from around the world will be flying in to attend. We'll announce nominees, and then they'll be voting for all the categories. And then you'll find out on the night of October 19th. It'll be live online, surfer.com. So tune in, watch what happens.